Good afternoon, everyone. It's Sunday, the 8th of June, and today's video is going to be a little bit longer than what I normally post. Most videos are 1 to 2 minutes, just talking about quick updates. Today, I want to talk about something that I think is very important as we move forward. Whether you're just starting carnivore and you're just starting to follow our carnivore family, or you've been with me the whole time, I think it's very important to have goals. I think these goals are motivators to help you keep going, to give you something to shoot for, and also make it so you find successes along the way. Because by finding those successes, I think that helps a person continue to go on. I've gotten comments from people who said they started carnivore and they stopped for some reasons, or they just didn't do it very long, and I always wondered why they quit. But I think if you set goals, it's easier to maintain and easier to do. Some people have already set goals. It could be that you just want to lose weight and get to a certain point. It could be for your health reasons. It could be for a number of things. Goals is what we're going to focus on today. And like I said, this video will be a little bit longer. When I started carnivore, I did it, of course, for multiple reasons. But one of the reasons was to see if it worked and if you really did lose weight. And I think we found out that we're all losing weight. And I think that's good. And we're going to keep moving on, and we're going to keep going, because I plan on continuing to live the carnivore diet lifestyle. And with that, I don't always want to keep saying lose weight, lose weight, lose weight. But when we talk about goals, losing weight is part of the goal, because there's certain weight thresholds that I want to get to as I progress through this. And since we went through the first 90 days of just carnivore to see where we go, see what happened, how much weight we lost, experienced the constipation, the runs, the change in your body, the eating, sometimes even the blandness of the food. We all experienced those things as we did this together. So now that we're past the first 90 days and we're into the body shaping phase, I want to talk about these goals that I've set for myself, and I hope that you can all go in and set goals for yourself as well. If not, you can use my goals, modify them to, suit you and to help you with where you want to be. And so, in the carnivore, I think it was 33 pounds I lost. I went from 251 to 217, I think was the last weigh-in. It's been a minute since I checked, but it's in the videos there. So, we could always go back and double check if we wanted to. So I think that's a total of like 33 or 34 pounds. And that was a great deal for me. It improved a lot in my medical conditions. My blood pressure went way down. I'm no longer pre-diabetic. My good cholesterol's good. The bad cholesterol's good. My liver functions and kidney functions are great. I don't have any medical issues because of it. My joints are feeling better. So reaching those were all goals that, people set out to achieve. But I think moving forward, I think it's important we keep goals. And these goals can change as you go, because you might find something different. So I've got 3 goals that I want to talk about today. We're going to do a short-term goal, an intermediate goal, and what we call a long-term goal. Now, I'm not going to give time. I'm not going to say, okay, the short-term goal is going to be over the next 3 weeks, and then we're going to look at the intermediate goal. I'm just going to set a short-term goal, and when I reach that goal, I'm going to move to my intermediate goal, and so on. I don't want to set time, because again, I've known people and including myself in the past, that if I didn't reach a particular goal, then I look at myself as a failure on that diet. And I don't want to do that, and I don't want any of you doing that. So I'm not going to put a time on this. I just want you to set a short-term, intermediate, and long-term goal and work and strive to get to those goals, because that's where you're going to want to be. And that's why you choose your goals. So my first goal is, I'm right around the 217, 218 pound mark. My first short-term goal is to get down to 210. And I want to be able to run at least a half a mile without stopping. And part of that, it'll be to build up endurance so I can add that to my body shaping workouts. To me, I used to love running. I used to run all the time, and it was a great stress reliever for me. And since I've had the surgeries and not been able to run, that's a goal I want to get back to. So my short-term goal again is to get down to 210. That's another 7 to 8 pound loss, and then to be able to run a half mile. Now, to reach that goal, once I reach that goal, I'm going to reward myself, because again, when you achieve something, you want to reward yourself for reaching that and getting to that success step. So I'm going to get myself a pair of new workout shoes. I think, once you reach your short-term goal, I think it's good to reward yourself. Treat yourself to something nice, because you accomplished something you wanted to. My next goal is going to be the intermediate goal. Once I hit the 210, my intermediate goal is to get down to 200. And I want to be able to run 1.5 miles without stopping. Now you're saying, okay, those two goals sound pretty familiar. Yes, they are, because they're weight loss goals, and they're running for distance. But I believe that's a big part of who I am, and a big part of stress reliever for me is running, and I enjoy it. So that's the goals I want to aim for. Plus, with doing the push-ups, the sit-ups, and some of the exercises you've sent me, I think that's all part of the body transformation we want to get. And 200 is also a big milestone for me. My kids, are both over 21, and they have never seen me under 200 pounds. I've always been 200 pounds plus around them, and so that'll be interesting, because again, like I said, my kids have never seen me that skinny. I guess 200 pounds really ain't skinny when you're 5'7" on a good day like I am, but that's still a milestone that I'm really shooting for, because my kids have never seen me that light. So that's my intermediate goal. And when I reach that goal, I'm going to go along with the new shoes I had previously gotten. I'm going to go get new workout stuff, because my workout stuff now is starting to get baggy on me. And while I don't go get it now, I'm using it as a goal, because I want something to motivate myself. Just like I use my belt with my work pants. I'm almost down to the very last buckle on that belt. And that is also a very positive motivator for me to keep going to reach my goals. And then my long-term goal is to get down to 190 pounds. And I've always told you in these videos that I'm very self-conscious about my body. I've always been very self-conscious. I guess you could say I was kind of afraid to take off my shirt. And I'm not saying this to be rude to the people, but I've seen people on the beach that, it looks like they just don't care what they look like. And, they walk around in Speedos and without their shirts on. And to me, I can't do that. I'm very self-conscious, and I'm very self-aware of taking my shirt off, because I feel weird with people looking at me in that sense. I know it's kind of weird, but that's just the way it is for me. So my goal is to get down to 190, and I figure with carnivore diet, losing the weight, losing the fat, working out, and shaping my body, that when I reach 190, I think I'll be psychologically ready to take off my shirt and walk around on the beach or at the pool or wherever we go on vacation, and do that. So that's what I'm really shooting for. And when I get there, that's another, I don't know, another 27-pound weight loss between my short-term and long-term goal. And I'm going to reward myself with a new wardrobe at that time. Because like I said, I plan to continue the carnivore way of life. I plan to continue to work out. I plan to continue to walk. And, I plan to set goals for myself. Once I reach the short-term goal and I start working on my intermediate goal, and then I get a long-term goal, I'll start over with another short-term goal, the one that's intermediate to the long-term goal. And I'll keep setting goals for myself so I can keep setting those milestones and making progress to where I feel that I'm really improving. And then, of course, I'll treat myself to either some vacation or a cruise, so that I can, take off my shirt and fight that phobia to get to the point where I feel like I look good, and not be embarrassed about how I look. Anyway, so those are just the goals I'm going to work on. I have wrote it down on paper. It's all right here. I don't know if you can zoom in on that, but those are my goals. Just as I've read them to you, I've wrote them down. I will actually probably tape them to my bathroom mirror so I can see them in the morning when I get up and brush my teeth. But anyway, that's what I wanted to talk to you about, because I want to, like I said, continue the carnivore way of life, continue to set goals, get to where we want to be, improve our health, improve our lifestyles to what we want, so we can become the people that we want to be, and not be burdened down by food or weight or pain because, we're heavy. But anyway, I just wanted to share that with you, and I hope you all have a great day. And if you watch this video, I would love to hear what your goals are and see what we have in common, and see the direction that you're going. Anyway, I will be out on the road this week, so there will be short videos coming around, in the evenings when I get back to my hotel room. But anyway, I hope you all have a great day and a great evening, and I will talk to you soon. All right, goodbye.